Hello everyone. Today we'll do our chapter 5, The Creation of an Empire. New words to remember. Standing army. Regular army ever ready for action or combat. Ibadat Khana. The hall of worship built by Akbar at Fatehpur Sikri. Here religious discussions were held. Coronation. A ceremony in which crown is formally placed on the head of a new prince. Khalsa. The term meaning the pure was used for the Sikh when the 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, began to organize them as soldiers for fighting against the Mughal armies. Treaty. An agreement between two or more states. Guerrilla. A warfare carried out by a small group of soldiers who used tactics to overpower the enemy. Mansab. A rank or position under the Mughals. Each Mansab maintained a certain number of horses. Who were the Mughals? With the advent of the Mughals began a new era in the Indian history. The Mughal Empire was established by Babur. He was related to Timur, the ruler of Iran, Iraq, and Turkey on his father's side, and Genghis Khan, ruler of the Mongol tribes on his mother's side. In fact, the Mughals did not like to be associated with the Mongols, who were terrible people. The Mongols had often raided the northwestern frontier. They had killed many people. The Mughals pointed with pride to their Timurid ancestors because Timur had seized Delhi in AD 1398. Babur, a Timurid prince of the fourth generation, established the Mughal dynasty. Ibrahim Lodi was the ruler of Delhi from AD 1517 to AD 1526. One of his governors, Daulat Khan Lodi, invited Babur, the ruler of Kabul, to invade India and overthrow Ibrahim Lodi. Babur, AD 1526 to AD 1530. Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi in the Battle of Panipat in AD 1526. Babur was now the ruler of Delhi, though not yet the king of India. The most powerful chieftain against whom Babur had yet to fight was Rana Sanga of Mewar. Rana Sanga had organized a huge confederacy of Rajput chiefs against the Mughal ruler. The victory of Khanua, a village near Agra, in AD 1527 gave Babur complete control over central India. The Rajput power was seriously weakened. Babur next defeated the combined forces of Bengal and Bihar in AD 1529. His empire now extended from Afghanistan in the west to Bihar in the east. Babur died in AD 1530. He wrote Tuzuke Babri or Baburnama, his autobiography, and kept a diary. From this, we learn that he was a man of outstanding ability, courage, and artistic temperament. Humayun, AD 1530 to AD 1540 and AD 1555 to AD 1556. On ascending the throne, Humayun had to face a difficult task of establishing his empire. The rulers and the masses considered the Mongols as foreigners and ferocious persons. They had caused untold suffering to people over the past few centuries. Humayun was an exile. Humayun's kingdom was surrounded by several hostile powers. This included the Afghan chief Sher Shah Suri, the ruler of Gujarat, Bahadur Shah Zafar, and his own brothers Kamran, Hindal, and Askari. Humayun's brother Hindal's treachery enabled Sher Shah Suri, the Afghan chief of Junar, Bihar, to defeat Humayun's forces at Chausa in AD 1539. It was from here that Humayun was on the run and the Afghan chief Sher Shah Suri followed him wherever he went. The two met again at Kannauj in AD 1540. Humayun had to hastily assemble an army to face Sher Shah Suri. The Mughal forces were demoralized because of fighting among brothers. Sher Shah Suri secured a decisive victory. The entire Mughal empire was lost to the Afghans. Humayun wandered from place to place. Finally, the ruler of Iran provided him a place to stay. With his help, Humayun could recapture Kabul and Kandahar in AD 1545. Humayun's death. Humayun did not live long enough to consolidate his power. In AD 1556, he died by an accidental fall from his library building in Purana Killa at Delhi. Suri Sultanate AD 1540 to AD 1555. Sher Shah Suri AD 1540 to AD 1545. At the time when Sher Shah Suri ascended the throne, he was already 67 years old. His original name was Farid. He has been given the title Sher Shah because he had once killed a tiger. From a mere landholder, he rose to become the Sultan of Delhi. During his 5 years' rule, he conquered Malwa, Rajasthan, and Sindh and laid the foundation of a strong administrative system. His empire extended from Bengal to Indus, except Kashmir. He died in May 1545 in a gunpowder explosion while assaulting the fort of Kalanjar. His tomb is at Sasaram in Bihar. Sher Shah Suri was succeeded by his son Islam Shah AD 1545 to AD 1554, who died in AD 1554. A war of succession broke out among various claimants to the throne. In AD 1555, exiled Humayun re-established the Mughal rule in India. Main achievements of Sher Shah Suri. Administration. In just 5 years, Sher Shah Suri created an administrative system far ahead of his times. He crushed the nobles and strengthened central administration. A large standing army completely under central control was created. There were a number of provinces called sarkars, each of which was again subdivided into parganas. Each pargana was under a military official known as Shikdar. He looked after law and order. A civilian official, Munsif, looked after the collection of revenue. The village officials included Muqaddam and Patwari. He also had an efficient espionage system. He held each high official, village headman, and local chieftain accountable for crimes in their respective areas. Public works. Sher Shah Suri paid great attention to the means of transport and communication. A number of good roads were constructed. The longest route connected Sonargaon, Deccan in Bengal to Agra and then to Lahore. It later became the Grand Trunk Road and then one of the national highways in independent India. Trade. Excellent transport and communication system promoted trade and commerce. Rest houses or sarais were constructed. The sarais were also used as the dak chowkis. The horsemen carried to royal mail in relays from one chowki to the next. This ensured quick delivery of royal mail. He introduced the system of payment of excise duty on movement of goods from one region to another and custom duty on trade with Central and West Asia. This helped increase the revenues of the kingdom. Case study: Akbar. Akbar's reign AD 1556 to AD 1605. Akbar was only 13 years old when he became the emperor. During his 50 years rule, he proved himself a worthy king. Bairam Khan. Akbar in his early years was guided by his father's trusted friend and his tutor Bairam Khan. He looked after the kingdom until AD 1560. He had brought Gwalior, Ajmer and Jaunpur under Mughal control. When Akbar grew up, he wanted to take the reins of administration in his own hands and persuaded Bairam Khan to go on a pilgrimage to Makkah. On his way to Makkah, Bairam Khan was killed by an Afghan in Gujarat. Conquests. Malwa was conquered in AD 1561. In AD 1564, Akbar attacked Gondwana, where Rani Durgavati bravely resisted the Mughal forces. She was defeated. Akbar wanted to expand his kingdom and bring about peace and order all around. He established friendly relations with the brave Rajputs. He himself married a number of Rajput princesses. Many Rajputs were given high posts in his administration. Many of his loyal advisors were Rajputs like Raja Man Singh. There were, however, many brave Rajput rulers such as Rana Uday Singh and Rana Pratap who challenged Akbar's might. He advanced to Chittor in AD 1567. The battle continued for 4 months when Jaimal, the commander of Chittor, was killed. Mewar passed on to the hands of the Mughals. Rana Uday Singh's son Maharana Pratap was equally a valiant king. Though he was defeated in the Battle of Haldi Ghati in AD 1576, he took to hills and continued his battle from hill to hill for about 20 years until his death in AD 1597. He became a symbol of Rajput bravery and love of freedom. Akbar conquered Bengal in AD 1576 and Gujarat in AD 1578. These two conquests added greatest riches to the Mughal Empire. Besides the fertile land of Bengal, a number of ports which were centers of foreign trade came under the control of the Mughals. In the northwest, Akbar conquered Kabul AD 1585, Kashmir AD 1586, Sindh AD 1591 and Kandahar AD 1595. With this conquest, the Mughals were able to develop close ties with Central Asia and Persia. It in turn led to a considerable growth in trade. Deccan. The Deccan states of Ahmednagar, Bijapur and Golconda, which had destroyed the Vijayanagar Empire, resisted both diplomatic and military offensive of the Mughals. Chand Bibi, the brave queen of Ahmednagar, faced the Mughal army in AD 1595. She was forced to sign a treaty and hand over Berar to the Mughals. Administration. Akbar not only established a vast empire, he also gave the country an efficient administrative setup. Central administration. Akbar was the pivot of the whole administration. He was at the head of both civil and military administration. He was the fountain of justice. He was assisted by many talented and gifted officers. Wazir was the prime minister who looked after general administration. The Diwan was in charge of the Department of Finance and Revenue. Mir Bakshi was the head of the military department. Sadur was the advisor to the emperor on religious matters. He looked after charities of educational and religious purposes. Provincial administration. For administrative purposes, Akbar divided his empire into 15 provinces called subas. These subas were under the control of provincial governors called subedars and sipasalars. The subas or provinces were further divided into districts called sarkars. The districts were subdivided into smaller units called parganas, which were under fauzdars. Each pargana had a number of villages. The Muqaddam and Patwari looked after village administration. The Mansabdari system. Akbar created an imperial service based on merit and rank or position. It was called Mansabdari system. The word Mansab means a rank or position. The Mansabdars or the holders of this rank enjoyed certain privileges and had certain functions to perform. The lowest rank was that of 10, whereas the highest rank was 5,000, which was later on increased to 10,000 by Akbar's successors. The Mansabdars held their appointments directly from the emperor. They acted both as military commanders and civil administrators. The highest rank was generally reserved for members of the royal family and the nobles. Each Mansab maintained a fixed number of horses, camels, and carts. The holders of lower ranks received their salaries in cash, but the holders of higher ranks were granted jagirs, land grants. Jagirs. The Mansabdars were allowed to collect land revenue from the jagirs granted to them. They were granted jagirs for a temporary period. Jagirs were often transferred from one Mansabdar to another. In other words, they were not given ownership rights over the lands granted to them. They only collected revenue for themselves and for the troops they maintained. The chief merit of the Mansabdari system was that Akbar was able to recruit persons of great ability for the service of the empire. The system worked well under him, but in course of time it led to corruption. Some of the Mansabdars did not maintain as many troops as they were required to have. Military administration. The Mughal army consisted of infantry, cavalry, artillery, and navy. The troops were mostly provided by Mansabdars. Mir Bakshi was responsible for maintaining the list of Mansabdars and other officials. He was also the paymaster general of all officers of the state, including Mansabdars. Land revenue system. During the reign of Akbar, a reformed revenue system was introduced. Todarmal, who had earlier worked under Sher Shah, first carried out a proper survey of land. He classified the land according to its productivity into 4 categories. Land revenue or the tax was fixed according to the productivity of land. This revenue system was called Zabt. It was also known as Todarmal's Bandobast because Todarmal was Akbar's revenue minister. The revenue was collected by the village headman Muqaddam or some other local chief called the Zamindar. The Zamindars could keep a certain percentage of what they received from the peasants. In course of time, the zamindars had become very powerful. They started exploiting the peasants who sometimes revolted. Religious ideas. Akbar built the Ibadat Khana at Fatehpur Sikri. Here he held religious discussions with the preachers of different religions. He realized that there is a basic unity among all religions. It was this idea of Sulh-e-Kul, universal peace, which made him tolerant of different religious faiths. He abolished the hated jizya tax, which was taken from the Hindus. In AD 1580, the emperor started a new faith called Deen-e-Ilahi, divine religion. It contained the best principles of different religions such as honesty, truth, justice and peace. Unfortunately, not many people were attracted to the new faith. Akbar's Mausoleum. Akbar was a great conqueror and an able ruler. He was one of the greatest monarchs known to history. His mausoleum is at Sikandra near Agra. Jahangir AD 1605 to AD 1627. During Akbar's reign, his eldest son Salim had rebelled and set himself up as an independent ruler at Allahabad. Akbar became seriously ill in AD 1604 and soon father and son gave up their quarrel. Akbar named Salim his successor. In AD 1605, the emperor died. Salim took the name of Jahangir and his reign began in AD 1605. Major events of Jahangir's reign. The execution of Guru Arjan Dev AD 1606. Guru Arjan Dev was the fifth Sikh Guru. He had given shelter to Prince Khusro, son of Jahangir, who had revolted against his father. The Guru was asked to pay a fine of rupees 2 lakh. On his refusal to pay the fine, the Guru was tortured. The Guru became a martyr. This cruel act marked the beginning of bitter relations between the Sikhs and the Mughals. Conquests. Mewar, which Akbar could not subdue, was brought under control by Prince Khurram, son of Jahangir, in AD 1615. Jahangir completed the task left unfinished by Akbar in Deccan. In AD 1616, Prince Khurram, personally commanding the Mughal forces, conquered the Ahmednagar fort. For this victory, Prince Khurram was conferred title of Shah Jahan, Lord of the World, by Jahangir. Noor Jahan. Jahangir had married Noor Jahan, real name Mehrunisa, in AD 1611. She was the widow of a Persian nobleman who had earlier been put to death for treason. Noor Jahan was an ambitious lady. Gradually, she took control of the entire administration in her hands. Her father and brother became prominent nobles of the court. Jahangir used to take her advice on all important matters. She wanted her son-in-law Prince Shahryar to succeed Jahangir. Jahangir died in AD 1627. Shah Jahan, the governor of Deccan at that time, marched to the capital Agra and became the emperor in AD 1628. European traders. The East India Company had been formed in England in AD 1600 to trade with India. In AD 1615, Sir Thomas Roe was sent to India as an ambassador of the British king. The English were permitted to open a factory at Surat. Thomas Roe has left behind an interesting account of Jahangir's court. Shah Jahan, AD 1628 to AD 1658. Shah Jahan was a kind ruler. His reign was generally peaceful. Conquests: Ahmednagar, Bijapur, and Golconda, the three kingdoms in Deccan, had been a source of trouble for the Mughals. After annexing Ahmednagar in AD 1632, the emperor asked the states of Bijapur and Golconda to submit to the Mughal authority. The ruler of Golconda submitted, but military action was needed to bring Bijapur into submission. In the northwest, the Mughals had suffered some reverses after Akbar's death. Shah Jahan was able to recover Kandahar, but the Mughals could not retain it for long. The Shah of Iran captured it again in AD 1649. The campaigns to recover Kandahar failed. Kandahar was lost by the Mughals forever. War of Succession. Shah Jahan was taken seriously ill in AD 1657. A war of succession began among the four brothers Aurangzeb, Dara Shikoh, Murad, and Shuja. Aurangzeb emerged victorious. He imprisoned his father Shah Jahan at the Agra fort in AD 1658 and declared himself the Emperor of India. Shah Jahan died in AD 1666. Aurangzeb AD 1658 to AD 1707. Aurangzeb ruled for nearly 50 years. His rule extended over almost the entire subcontinent from Kashmir in the north to River Kaveri in the south and from Kabul in the west to Chittagong in the east. But he reversed Akbar's policy of religious toleration. He reimposed jizya tax on the Hindus. Therefore, he had a difficult time. He spent the last days of his reign attempting to suppress one revolt after another. Chief events during Aurangzeb's reign: the revolts of Jats and Satnamis. In AD 1669, the Jats of Mathura revolted under the leadership of Gokul, the Zamindar of Tilpat. They were defeated but could not be crushed permanently. In AD 1672, the emperor had to march personally to crush a rebellion of another group of peasants called Satnamis. These uprisings, however, continued until the Jat leader Churaman established a separate Jat kingdom. The Revolt of Sikhs. Guru Tegh Bahadur, the ninth Guru of the Sikhs, opposed the policy of religious persecution followed by Aurangzeb. In AD 1675, Guru Tegh Bahadur, along with 5 of his followers, was arrested and brought to Delhi. Guru Tegh Bahadur was ordered to embrace Islam. On his refusal to give up his faith, the Guru was beheaded at a place called Chandni Chowk in Delhi. Guru Tegh Bahadur's son Gobind Singh, the 10th Guru, organized the Sikhs into a disciplined military sect called the Khalsa. They continued their heroic struggle against the Mughals. There was a fierce battle at Anandpur Sahib in AD 1704. Guru Gobind Singh fought heroically. His 2 sons were baked alive when they refused to embrace Islam. Relations with Rajputs. Aurangzeb's relations with Rajputs were never cordial. He kept Raja Jaswant Singh of Marwar and Raja Jai Singh of Mewar away from the court as he was annoyed with them. After Raja Jaswant Singh's death, Aurangzeb did not allow his infant son Ajit Singh to inherit the throne. He detained the infant in Delhi. Durga Das Rathore, a brave Rajput, rescued Ajit Singh. Thereafter, Rajputs of Marwar and Mewar joined hands and fought against the Mughals for several years. At the end, Aurangzeb had to yield and accept Ajit Singh as the ruler. Relations with Shivaji. The Mughals had conflicts with the Marathas, who had become a strong power under Shivaji. The latter started attacking the Mughal territories in the Deccan. Aurangzeb sent Shaista Khan with a powerful army to fight against him. Shaista Khan was wounded and his son got killed. Aurangzeb then sent another army under Raja Jai Singh to deal with Shivaji. Raja Jai Singh persuaded Shivaji to visit the imperial court in AD 1666. Shivaji was humiliated by Aurangzeb. He, along with his son Sambhaji, remained under house arrest for nearly 9 months. Shivaji managed to escape. He reached the Deccan. In AD 1674, Shivaji was crowned as the king. Shivaji's glorious rule was cut short by his death in AD 1680. He was not only a successful military leader but an able administrator as well. Aurangzeb in Deccan, AD 1681 to AD 1707. After the death of Shivaji, his son Sambhaji ascended the throne. Aurangzeb reached the Deccan in 1681. He was determined to crush the Marathas, but his efforts did not bear the desired results. Aurangzeb annexed Bijapur in 1687 and Golconda in AD 1687. In AD 1689, Sambhaji was also defeated, captured and killed. But the Marathas continued to cause a lot of trouble. From AD 1700 to AD 1707, Aurangzeb remained in the Deccan. He died at Aurangabad in AD 1707. With little success but great loss of wealth and prestige. His absence from the north created disorder and weakened the empire. Last days of the empire. The successors of Aurangzeb were very weak and inefficient. One such king was Muhammad Shah AD 1719 to AD 1748, who kept himself surrounded by musicians and dancers. He therefore came to be known as Muhammad Shah Rangila, Muhammad Shah the Colorful. During his reign, Asaf Jahan created an independent kingdom at Hyderabad. Soon afterwards, the governors of Bengal and Awadh also declared their independence. They did not recognize the authority of the Mughal king. Nadir Shah of Iran invaded India in AD 1739. He killed innocent inhabitants of Delhi and returned home with immense treasure, including the famous Kohinoor diamond and peacock throne of Shah Jahan. Nadir Shah's invasion was a terrible blow to the Mughal Empire. From this blow, it never recovered. Rise of East India Company. The English had developed 3 major trading centers at Mumbai, Bombay, Kolkata, Calcutta, and Chennai, Madras. But the East India Company could not make much advance till the death of Aurangzeb in AD 1707. The French had also formed the French East India Company in AD 1664. The English and the French were at war in India many times. After the Battle of Plassey in AD 1757, the English became the leading power in India. The Great Uprising of 1857 resulted in the transfer of power from the East India Company to the British Crown. The last Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah was imprisoned and exiled in Rangoon, where he died in AD 1862. The export trade. The Mughals maintained balance of power in Central Asia. For example, when the Turks tried to invade Iran, which was a Shia state, the Mughals extended support to it. They knew that the prosperity of their country depended on trade. They made every effort to maintain trade relations with Central Asia, West Asia, and other countries. The Mughal court. The reign of Shah Jahan is considered to be the golden period of the Mughal rule in India. The emperor sat on the famous peacock throne. The courtiers and nobles had their seats fixed on at the court. They showed great respect to the emperor. The business of administration was transacted in the court. The officers gave their reports and took instructions from the emperor. The emperor also met the common people at fixed hours at Diwan-e-Am and heard their grievances. When the emperor went on official tours, the courtiers also moved with him. Akbarnama and Ain-i-Akbari. You must be surprised how we know so much about Akbar. Much of it we know from his court historian Abul Fazl, who wrote Akbarnama. This book tells a great deal about Akbar and his times. Akbarnama is in 3 volumes. The first volume deals with Akbar's ancestors from the days of Timur to those of Humayun. The second volume presents the events of Akbar's reign. The third volume, Ain-i-Akbari, gives information about Akbar's administration and the legal and revenue systems of the empire. It also gives a detailed account of the city and village administration, the duties assigned to police kotwals, inspectors, and the measures taken to regulate prices and to prevent women from becoming sati, burning themselves against their will. So this was our chapter, the creation of an empire. If you have any doubt or query, you can ask me in the comment section below. Thank you everyone.